Welcome, everybody. It's early office hours, and it's also an experiment. I am trying a stream from a different computer because I'm going to be traveling soon, so I'm checking my travel computer. That means you're seeing a little bit of the sausage being made because you can see the outline of my green screen. Of course, when I'm traveling, I will not be bringing a green screen with me, so there you go. Semi-fake settings, but welcome. If this is your first time here, and if it's not, I'm Debbie Levitt from Delta CX. We are a full-service CX and UX consultancy and agency. We do projects, training, and consulting. Check us out at the new customercentricity.com website. And for those of you who are fans of our community, you still have a website at deltacx.com. And this is office hours where I take your questions for about an hour, unless we have no questions, in which case I will gleefully log off and work on something else. But we also do this Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Italy time. Right now it's 10 a.m. Italy time. Once a month I do an early one, my time, for people in far away time zones, our friends in Singapore and Australia and India and some other places, and right here in Europe. So, and I guess people still awake in Hawaii, whoever it might be. So I'm happy to take any question you have. You can ask it live in the chat. I'm monitoring YouTube, Twitch, and LinkedIn. Hey, hi, Johnny. And you can also ask a question anonymously at deltacx.com/links. Any question you might have about the stream is answered at deltacx.com/links. Please go there. It's got information. So I am testing my travel laptop with today's stream. I want to see if it can handle it. And so far, it's handling it beautifully. I'm really impressed and very happy because I'm always sad when I travel and I try to do these streams and my laptop can't handle it. But I got a new travel laptop and I am thrilled to pieces. Hello, Vishal. Hello from Pakistan. Hi, good morning, Ali. So, yes, I'm here to teach. So, if you have any questions, please ask them. We'll add them to the list of questions, which will be in the YouTube description. And other than that, I'm just here with on a different computer. Same face, edges of green screen. So, same desk, same chair, but different laptop, different camera. Same green screen. So yeah, a little bit of an experiment, but so far it's going really well. It looks like it's streaming really well. Hopefully you're not losing any packets or it's not blipping. On my end, it looks like it's a smooth stream, which is good news for my upcoming travels. Let's see. I can also tell you about some shows that are coming up. So of course we have the office hours. Hi, Shweta. Good afternoon. What's for lunch? We've got the usual show. Oh, we do have a question from Johnny. Let's get that one on the list. Thanks, Johnny. I am making a list. You can't see the list, but it will later on be in the YouTube description. So here we go. Johnny says, how did you cope with the small idea confrontations with your coworkers when the design problems are, must be minor or tight on a schedule and you don't have time to test? Ooh, right. It's always tough when we don't have time to test because that means we're taking something that we're not sure about, or even if we are a little confident about it and we're putting it out into the public. And really the biggest risk there is not for me or my pride. The biggest risk there is for the company. Because if we find that this design or even this idea is not the right one, we have a lot of changes we're going to need to make, and that's going to cost the company a lot of time and a lot of money, which they're not going to be happy with. So I always remind people, I always say in my slides, if you watch any of my talks or my slides, I say usability testing is the QA of UX. We want to do QA testing on our code before it goes to the public. We want to check for bugs, but somehow we never have time for UX testing because, sandwich for lunch, says Shweta. Somehow we magically don't have time for any UX testing. We're just going to throw it out there. And I like to warn people that that's like putting your code out there without usability testing. Sure, there's the possibility that your code is perfect, no bugs. But what's the likelihood of that? Nope, it's likely that we have bugs. And the same is true for UX and design. There's probably some bugs in there. There's probably some room for improvement in the design. Would we like to learn that now when it's easier and cheaper for us to fix that because the developers haven't started coding it or haven't finished coding it? Or would we like to learn that weeks from now, months from now, when we've done all of this coding and then learned it's buggy? So Schweitzer says a lot of people confuse usability testing with QA and state you can find issues at that point, but you can't make major changes by then. That's right. That really depends upon the team and the way the team works. If the QA person is really empowered, then the QA person should be. Good morning, Wilson. Wilson, is that really you? You're up too early, too late. Yes, some people think we don't need to test in with UX because we'll do QA testing and we'll find bugs there. Remember, you find technical bugs in QA testing. You find coding problems, API or connectivity or integration problems. You find performance problems, but you don't necessarily find 4 a.m. Wilson, go back to bed. But you don't necessarily find if you have created the wrong idea or concept or a not that great design. So that is the way I tend to try to sell that. So, so Johnny, what do I do with these confrontations? And we have a tight schedule and we don't have time to test. First of all, see if you can get yourself into the habit of some really fast tests that can take a day. Sometimes if you can create a panel of potential participants, people from outside who aren't your customers, people who might be your customers, always best when they're not your customers, but sometimes we're stuck. See if you have if you can create a database of people who you can go to and give them a few dollars, a few yen, a few whatever it is, and say, hey, we've got this prototype, we've got this test, we want you to go through it. Use a system like I use UX Tweak. Let's see if my not sponsored is working. I'm trying to set off my effects. There we go, not sponsored. I use UX Tweak. You can put your prototype in there, your test in there. You can get it out to people. You can quickly get back even 5 tests. They'll leave you videos of them moving through it. Hopefully you've told them to talk through it, and that will show you some people moving through it, and you can find some pretty obvious UX bugs. It may or may not test how fantastic your solution solves the original problem, but it will certainly tell you a little bit about where this particular design has room for improvement because you're running into the 4 horsemen of bad UX: frustration, confusion, disappointment, and distraction. So I would try to get into the habit of having fast tests that you can turn around sometimes in a day, because you have a database of people where you can say, let me grab 10 of these people who we haven't bugged in a while and send them a thing and say, hey, if you take this test, you're going to get a free bubble tea, something small. And hopefully you can get back some results within hours, and you can then inform your design. And then you can also show some of these videos or video clips to your team and say, it's a great thing that we were able to take even a day to show some people this thing, because here's some bugs that we found. And UX has bugs just like QA has bugs. Developers aren't perfect. QA isn't perfect. Sorry, that sound is morning breakfast shake. I'm up to breakfast. What's everybody else eating? So, oh yes, thank you. So, Johnny, did that help? Am I answering the right question for you? Am I in the right ballpark? Is this the kind of thing that might be helpful? Please let me know. You're certainly welcome to ask a follow-up question, and everybody's welcome to ask other questions. I'm checking for anonymous questions. I don't see any yet. And meanwhile, let's set off some of my new effects and see how they look. So sad. Where does accessibility testing fit in? Should that be part of the usability testing too? Okay, let's write that down. Let's put that on our list so it can be in the YouTube description later. Thank you for a super question. We actually talk about this in the Customers Know You Suck book. So if you have Customers Know You Suck, I think you might be looking for maybe chapter 13, which is on accessibility. It's one of many great chapters in the book, but we do have some information there. So basically, I interview Sherry Bernhaber, who is fantastic, and she says, look, before you do accessibility testing, do some of your usability testing and your QA testing. There's no good reason to give your accessibility needs people a really buggy thing or a design that's still in progress. You know, you can certainly try to usability test on people with accessibility needs, but you will have had to have created a really realistic prototype that they can get through with a screen reader or tabbing on their keyboard, and you might not have done that. You might have to wait till you have a development build. But Sherry suggests not testing immediately your dev build on people with accessibility needs, because chances are there are some tech bugs you need to bang out first. She has a whole formula in the book on when to do what, like wait for this and then test this and get this number of these types of people. It was really informative. So again, you can grab my book for as little as $1 at cxcc.to/CKYS for Customers Know You Suck, all lowercase, that you can get the digital version for as little as $1. It's also print and audible if you think you can stand listening to me read it for 16 and a half hours. But basically, yes, you want to do accessibility testing. It should be part of engineering's definitions of ready or done, because we don't want to go to the public without it. We don't want to treat it like they have to upvote accessibility as a feature. We don't want to be sued. We supposedly have, let's see if this effect works, we supposedly have empathy. So let's make sure we care about our users and we are building what they need. Oh, I'm so happy this stream is going so well on this laptop. My old travel laptop super died, and I can't blame it. I bought it in like 2014, 15, 16, 14. I don't even remember. It was, I'll have to check when. I bought it when the Surface Pro 4 came out. I bought a Surface Pro 3 because I'm that cheap. So whenever Surface Pro 4 came out is when I bought the old laptop. When was Surface Pro 4 released? Now I'm just curious. I'm just chatting. October 2015. Okay, so that's when I bought my old Surface Pro. And hey, it lasted almost 10 years. Oh, you're traveling at the moment. Wilson, I'm not, but I am preparing to. I'm going to be gone for all of May. And in fact, I'm just now being added to a conference in Quebec City. So I'm going to be in Canada, but for about 10 minutes. So I have a plane change in Toronto, but I'm not going to be able to spend any reasonable time with anybody in Toronto unless you want to meet me at the airport at 9:30 at night or 11 at night. It's not good. So it is not quality time unless you are coming to this event in Montreal. So since I will be traveling for a month, I'm going to be in 5 countries, a lot of countries, everybody. I wanted to make sure my replacement for Surface Pro 3, which is Surface Pro 9, hashtag not sponsored. Let's put that up. Not sponsored. I'm Windows and proud of it. I wanted to see if I would be able to do a good quality stream, because even though I have a gaming laptop I sometimes travel with, Lenovo Legion 740, also not sponsored, I find sometimes it chokes on these streams. It doesn't seem to be happy. And the old Surface Pro didn't have the power. So new Surface Pro has the power. At least as of now. I don't know about 8 years from now. But yeah, the last one lasted almost 8 years. I mean, it didn't totally die. It just became too slow and orphaned and the whole thing. So we're going to just wipe it and let Pierre Mario use it as a testing laptop because he builds websites. And so that way he has a Windows machine to test on. So I will be traveling soon. I leave in 2 weeks from today. Travel. You know, a lot of you don't know because the channel started in October 2019, right before the pandemic. So a lot of you haven't gotten to meet me, but in 2018 and 2019, I traveled 100,000 miles a year. I was at like 50 conferences a year, most of them in person. So it looks like that's starting to wake up again. And yeah, I might be the person in the mask. I might be the only person in the mask, but looks like we're traveling again. So I've got like, I don't know, 5 or 6 events on a whole bunch of countries, and I'm going to be gone for a month. So, including my event with Larry Marine. If you haven't signed up, go to cxcc.to/space, SPACE, lowercase, excuse me, and you'll see that I'm doing my 1-day version of space. And the day before that, Larry Marine is doing a full day on observational research and task analysis and knowledge design. And you can join that remotely or live in Denver, Colorado. So we're doing a hybrid event in mid-May. I'll be there. So yeah, this is Office Hours. Ask me anything. I'll be doing this again at 6:30 p.m. Okay, Johnny's back. Johnny says, the dilemma is when the PM has a different idea, but they left little time for you to make more interactive prototypes. What we did before was voting. Yeah, I mean, basically, this is just what I call a guessing sandwich. The PM guesses this is the solution. You're guessing this is the solution. The people voting are guessing at what they like the best, because who knows what the user likes the best. This is a guessing sandwich. And the more layers of guessing you have in your sandwich, the more risk you're running. The more likely it is that you're wrong because you have guesses about guesses. So ultimately, this is a process problem. This is a process and strategy problem. If you have a good manager, and you might not, but if you have a good manager, I would be fighting for design to get more time, because hopefully your company cares about quality. If your company doesn't care about quality, then sure, everybody can guess at the design and you can do it in 2 hours and whatever it is, and good luck to our customers who have to use this crap. But if we do care about quality, then why don't designers get more time? That's where you need a good manager who's going to fight for processes to be improved. Don't worry about splitting messages. Totally fine. Oh. And now you're sending me a private message. And I never know if I'm supposed to call you Johnny or by your other name. So please help me out here, Johnny. Oh, this message was blocked by the filter. I wonder why. Okay, you're sending me a message in Slack because the YouTube blocked a message. I wonder what's wrong with it. What's wrong? Gut feeling? I mean, I don't set up the YouTube filters, so I don't know why that message got blocked. But the rest of the thing was, it wasn't a good result. People were voting based on their gut feeling. What's a better solution for this? Well, here's the interesting thing. You would think that if you've done this before, guess X designer. Yeah, exactly. And Ganesh, we'll get to your question after we finish Johnny's question, but thank you. I will add you to the list. Oh, and then we've got Kevin's question. Thank you, Kevin. I'll add you to the list after Ganesh. So we're still on Johnny's question, but hold on, everybody. We'll get there. So, and let's queue up Ganesh's question while I talk about Johnny. So Johnny, the interesting thing is that if your team agrees with you that the last time you did the quick design and the voting was a bad result, if they don't agree with you, then it's just you saying we had a bad result. And the question is, why don't they agree with you? But let's imagine they do agree with you and they do think that last time you did this and you guessed at some designs and you did the voting, there was a bad result. My question is, what team would be so foolish as to do the same thing again? It wouldn't make sense to say, well, you know, we've now done this 10 times and 7 times we had a bad result. Why don't we try something different? That would be what I would be saying. Hey, this is what we tend to do. We rush into my idea or the PM's idea or a little of both, and we vote amongst ourselves of what we like, and then we don't end up with good results. Wouldn't it be smarter for us to try something different rather than to keep rolling the dice and throwing darts at the dartboard and hoping it's better next time? So yeah, that's probably that's the conversation I would be having. Hey, have you ever noticed that when we guess at a design and then vote on our favorite, doesn't end up good? And then we've wasted our team's time and the company's time on all of that engineering, getting it out to the public dealing with something that they didn't really like. They called customer support, they complained to their salesperson. There has to be a way, Johnny, for you to watch the arc of this, the whole story, and tell the story back to your team. And especially if you're claiming to be agile, this should be in the retro. The retro should be, wow, we got this wrong. How did this go wrong? And how can we do better next time? Miki, hope you answer my question above. Scroll up. Oh, you must have been blocked too, Miki. I'm not seeing a question from you. Let me flip over. Did YouTube block Mickey? I'm not seeing a question there. Can you please write it again? Or did you send it in anonymously? Hold on. Do I have No, I don't have an anonymous question waiting for me. If you're having problems with YouTube today, everybody go to deltacx.com/links, find where it says submit a question for office hours, ask me anything, and use that. It just goes straight to my email and you won't be blocked at all. That's really the best plan B, unless like Johnny, you've got me on Slack. So, sorry, Mickey, I missed your question. Please ask it again, and I'm sorry it was blocked. But let's go over to Ganesh. And Ganesh says, what is the best mode of designing when the use cases are uncertain and the design is likely to change or be thrown away? So sometimes I'm suggesting that people press pause. Why are we designing when we don't know the use cases? Why are we designing when we don't know what problems we're solving? This sounds like poor process. So again, I would be talking to my team, talking to my manager and saying, look, we have a very risky and wasteful process. We're going into design or even into development when we don't even know what our use cases are. We don't know what we're building or why. We don't know what problems we're solving. Now, again, I'm making some of this up. Maybe all of this is not true for you, but I'm just saying these things as possible examples of what's going on for you. This is risky and wasteful. It ends up wasting my time because I start designing and then I find out we need something different. And it wastes engineering time. Sometimes they start building something and it turns out we're going in the wrong direction. Shweta says it also slows things down a lot because everyone has a different take on the design. Ganesh says, yes, but in a startup, the product teams don't want to litigate about process because there's always time pressure. It's amazing that startups still haven't woken up and figured out that quality beats time every time, because if same as we were just talking about for Johnny, by now your teams must have recognized the amount of time they are wasting. They're wasting the money they're paying you. They're wasting time when things change. It is so much better to have a clear strategy up front and to be able to design and build from that clear strategy than to say, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know why we're doing it. Let's just start designing a thing. Maybe we'll change our minds later. It's not the best use of anybody's time, and it's not fast. It's not fast, and it's risky and wasteful. Ganesh, I would say go over to my customercentricity.com website. Under About Us, I've got case studies. I've got a case study about a fintech startup that we just worked with. They realized they didn't know what problem they were solving. And we did the research to set them up for success. Does that research take time? Yeah, it did. What will engineering do while we wait for research? Anything they want. How about fixes to the product? How about improving the speed and performance of the product? Come up with something. Ganesh says, yeah, it's frustrating for designers to work on throwaway things. And it's wasteful for the business. Ganesh says the audience finds it better to look at visuals than looking at text to understand flows and stories. Yeah, exactly. There's only so much we can do about this. If your company wants to have a risky, wasteful, slow motion process and pretend that that's fast, then all you can do is show them this video or talk to them and say, This isn't fast. We're pretending this is fast, but ultimately this is slow. We could wait for research to happen first and then be set up for success and have used this amount of time. Or we can make this guess and go, oh no, wait a minute, not that. And make another guess and go, oh no, wait a minute, not that. Oh wait, this guess. Oh wait, now we think we need people to... One of these is definitely less efficient. And this is my efficiency triangle from chapter 16 of my book. Clap emoji. Yes, thank you. Oh, sorry. It's coming up as wash hands. I don't know why it's coming up as wash hands. This is my efficiency triangle. Oops, sorry, bouncy desk. This is my efficiency triangle from chapter 16 of Customers Know You Suck, and it's a reminder that these things have to be balanced. Sure, we want to go fast. Sure, we want to have good velocity. We want to be fast, but we're not efficient if we're fast, but we're not meeting, it's over here, customers' needs. Or we're not efficient if we think we're fast, but we're creating risk and waste and we keep having to throw things away. This is risky and wasteful. This is ultimately not fast and not efficient. Okay, you emailed the question. Mickey, I'm going to take a look for it. It hasn't come in yet, but hopefully it will. So, okay, here it comes now. Mickey's question's coming in now. So, Ganesh, hopefully that helps you. And thank you for the question. Let's get Mickey's in here before the other one, since it sounds like I missed Mickey's question earlier. I am sorry. And then we'll get to Kevin's question. Thank you, Kevin. Hold on. Let me just clean this up so it copies and pastes well. One woman show. Okay. Yes, the anonymous way, and you can put your name in it if you want, is always the best way to send especially long questions, because YouTube does have a cutoff. So let me get this ready to go up on the screen, and then I'll read it out loud and we'll get there. Alrighty, so here we go. Mickey says, joining as a contractor for a very low maturity company, design, CX, digital maturity. What do I be mindful of and keep doing my job successfully without being bogged down by politics around low maturity education? Any tips as a consultant? Thanks. For context, I'm a mid-senior service designer with 7 to 8 years of experience and have recently been burnt out by a few orgs with poor design and poor cultures. Okay, you're probably senior, if not higher, with 7 to 8 years of experience. So welcome to the show. Happy to help people at all levels. So for starters, you have to become, sometimes that burnout comes from thinking we can make change when nobody wants us to make change. So you have to first consider, am I here to just do the work, or am I here to try to make internal processes better? People who come to this channel are usually change agents. We want to make internal processes better. We want to raise maturity. Sometimes nobody wants that but us. So it'll help you to set better expectations for yourself. Hey, I'm just a contractor here. They want service design or UX design or research or whatever you're going to be doing, but they really don't want me to change their processes. They think they're great being slow and reactive and guessing at shit. I'm not going to be able to change them. So first you have to just make sure that you have set proper expectations for yourself on what you're there to do and how much you can change. Sometimes we just can't make that change. That should help with some of that burnout, because sometimes you just go into a job and say, this is a job where I'm just going to do my job and I'm not going to make this company or team or process any better, and I'm going to do my best and I'm going to take my money, and then when the contract's over, I'll go somewhere else. You know, you can't fix everything. And Ganesh, I see you're asking more things. Let me add that after Kevin's question, because Kevin is waiting patiently. I hope Kevin's still waiting patiently. So Mickey, that's the first thing is setting expectations for yourself to avoid that burnout, because that's something that I see a lot. So, sorry, trying to get, I want to contract for this reason and not work full time. Yeah, and again, sometimes that's a positive for contracting is come in, do your best, not try to change the world, move on. But sometimes for me, they do want me to change the world, and you have to do that. So so the question was, what do I be mindful of? Keep doing my job successfully without being bogged down by politics around low maturity education. It is not your job to teach everybody UX or service design. If they ask you to do that, I assume that's not why you were hired. If you weren't hired as an educator or a teacher, in my opinion, you don't have to teach them to do it. You can tell them what it is, and you can tell them the importance of it. Risk mitigation, customer intelligence, getting it right the first time, reducing risk and waste, but you are under no pressure to teach these people to do your job. Hey, I don't have time to try to teach you to do my job, and hey, it took me 8 years to get here. There is no fast, easy way to learn to do what I do. So when you say politics around low maturity education, I'm not too sure what you're referring to. YouTube can handle short comments, so maybe you can help me know what you're talking about there. But if you're talking about education as in teaching your coworkers to do your job, you do not have to teach your coworkers to do your job. Just say no. I'm here to do the work. I'm not here to teach you how to do my job. And it takes years to learn to do my job. I can't just give you a couple of hours of lessons and now you can do my job. If it were easy to do my job, you wouldn't have hired me. You would have done it myself. You would have done it yourselves. They want me to improve it a bit, but they were honest about how low it was. They're not expecting breakthroughs. Okay, so if you are expected to make some changes, then you have to figure out where you want to do that. Where I usually start, before I try to make the big changes to process, I start with, are they doing usability testing? That's a relatively low-hanging fruit. When you do it unmoderated, it can be fast and inexpensive, even if you are paying incentives. Are they doing usability testing? If not, bring that in. That's step one. And again, are they making good time for design to be done? I mean, we heard Johnny's story where he seems to get negative 10 minutes to guess at something. Try to see if designers can get a little bit more time to really think things through and then do that usability testing and have time to iterate on it. Everybody claims they love design thinking and they want to do iteration. Let's do it. Oh, I think Ganesh is still adding to Ganesh's question. Let me copy and paste that. Ooh. Okay, sorry, just trying to get my document right. Then, if they have a designer and they're doing usability testing, now you're looking at bringing in more generative research. I mean, if you're a service designer, you know about this. I don't have to tell you what generative research is or the power of it. We know it's going to set the project up for success and help keep everybody from running in the wrong direction. It's going to reduce risk, it's going to help us prioritize, and it's going to help us write problem statements that are customer-centric or user-centered so that we know that whatever we're doing is not just satisfying business goals, it's going to solve real customer problems, and we can carry that through the project to make sure that we are solving real customer problems. So I think those are some of the things that I would look at changing based on where they're at. Those are things that you can try or add based on what they're already doing or not doing. Am I in the right neighborhood for the question that you were asking? A little too close to the screen today. Okay, before we get to Ganesh's follow-up, let's do Kevin's question, because I don't want Kevin to think we forgot about Kevin. Okay, let's see. So the question is up, and we'll paste in Kevin's, and it says, I'm currently in a team that has this culture of having brown bag sessions, 30 minutes tops every Tuesday. We can talk basically everything under the sun. It's been going on for quite some time now, and I'm running out of topics. Any interesting topic you think people will appreciate? The team is a combination of devs, data scientists, managers, and execs. UX maturity is exploratory at best. I'm the only designer in the team. Okay, a little hard to answer only because I don't know what you've covered yet. Obviously, my dream would be for you to be reading my new book, Customers Know You Suck, and be taking stuff from that. You know, there's 334 pages there that you could be taking topics from, but I would, just as a guess, oh, Mickey says, thanks, clear enough, setting expectations, making small changes. Yep, and seeing them through, making sure they're working before you try something else. So Kevin, I would love to see people talking more about risk mitigation. I think I've said that 4,000 times in today's show so far. It's really important to make sure that our teams are saving time and money, reducing waste, mitigating risk by making better decisions up front. That way, don't talk about UX maturity or UX evangelism. Just talk about, how do we make sure we're going in the right direction? Hey, remember that project where we all kind of guessed at stuff and then it ended up not working out? We got a lot of complaints and sales had problems and marketing couldn't fix it, and we had to offer people a discount or we had to undo it. You probably have one of these stories from your company. Let's tell that story again and say, how do we make sure that things like that don't happen again in small ways or in large ways? Oh my gosh, thank you for the super chat. Why didn't it explode on my screen? It's supposed to explode on my screen. I guess there it goes. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Mickey. Super sweet. Always appreciated. Very sweet. I got a super chat, honey. It's my husband over there. Thank you. Always optional, but greatly appreciated. I will buy delicious cheese. So anyway, back to Kevin. So Kevin, I think if we bring out an old story of bad stuff that happened and we say, let's look at this again. Now that we're in the future and we can look back at that project, let's talk about how that could have gone better, because maybe we need to take another look at some of our processes in our company. Sure, it's 30 minutes, it's a lunchtime session, but you can just talk even generally about what happened there. Where did we go wrong there? And how could we do better next time? What could have happened? What should have happened? You can also run the quadrant exercise that I've been talking about a lot. I don't know if you've seen the quadrant that I've been doing on a lot of the shows. You can find it in the Think Out Loud. Some of the Think Out Louds start with the quadrant. It's a great exercise that you can run with people, and basically it's kind of like sorry, I'm forgetting the word right now, but it's like a Miro board, and you can do it in person with sticky notes, or you can do it digitally with like a Miro board. And basically take something that's going on at your company, take a project you're working on or a future project, and you put up a problem statement related to your users or something people think they know about users. Then people will put up ask people for their assumptions, their guesses, what they wish they knew, outdated information, or what do we think we know? And the idea is to get people to put up as many questions as possible in any area of this board. It doesn't matter what area they put it in, because they're all basically the same, just said different ways. And then once you've given people, maybe 10 minutes to do that, take a look at it and say, how can we move forward on that project with all of those unanswered questions? Now, some of the unanswered questions will be out of scope. What would people pay for a future unknown thing? Nobody knows that. Nobody has a crystal ball. I really need a crystal ball effect. Nobody can predict the future. We don't know what people will pay for an unknown thing we haven't even created yet. Those questions are out of scope. But if we're asking questions about how people think, how they behave, how do they do this now? Are they using competitors' systems? Do they collaborate with other people when they do this thing? Then you can say, we should not move forward on this project until we have the answers to these questions. That's the importance of research. Research brings us business intelligence and customer intelligence to set us up for small and large successes, to keep us from making mistakes, to keep us from risk and waste. We probably will or have moved forward with this project with all of these things being unknown and unanswered. But what could happen in the future? Hey, remember that project when we didn't know the thing and we guessed and all of this terrible stuff happened? So I think that would be an interesting lunchtime exercise, the quadrant exercise. Yeah, there's a bunch of things. You can poke around, think out loud. I don't remember what episode it was. Was it 33 or 34 where we did some quadrant stuff? There's lots of stuff in the book too, but yeah, these are some things that I would be talking about, all the stuff in the book. The importance of building up more customer intelligence so that we can make better decisions, better priorities, better products and services, fewer mistakes, fewer rework adventures, fewer, uh-oh, we better undo that, fewer, uh-oh, customer support is slammed because this kind of sucks, etc. All right, I hope that helps. Let's go back to Ganesh, and I haven't been reading what Ganesh is writing. I've just been copying and pasting it in the hopes that it says something and makes sense. So let's take a look. Okay, so it looks like Ganesh wrote, let's say if we were to help product managers help communicate their ideas better with design to help the stakeholders understand the ideas better. Wireframes are one way. We try to communicate the idea in a faster way. Is there a better approach to this? Still help the team. PMs want designers to contribute to product improvements, which sometimes feel like they want designers to do PMs' jobs. How do we take this? Okay, there's a lot there. Kevin says, thanks. Book is on its way. Had to order through Amazon since it's not in the Philippines. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got it through Amazon, and that is the best way to get it. Also, from my website, you can get the digital version, but if you're looking for paper, it would be Amazon. So hopefully it won't take more than a week or two to get there. And sorry, make breakfast shake, and hopefully it'll help. And if you have any other questions, please reach out privately or reach out through the show. All right, so Ganesh, there's a lot going on here that we need to talk about. First of all, I don't love when PMs come up with ideas, because the problem is then you're not the designer anymore, you're their secretary. They come up with ideas and they want you to just wireframe it or prototype it and make it pretty. It sounds like this is all very broken and this is very low maturity. Unfortunately, it's very common. So there isn't a lot that you're going to be able to do here. The problem is the more you teach a product manager to do design or wireframing or prototyping, the less they think they need you. And you're teaching them they don't need you. You're teaching them they can come up with designs in whatever good or bad way, with or without any UX knowledge or foundational knowledge of psychology or human behavior. PMs can just come up with ideas, wireframe what they like, and send that to design. And the problem, again, is you are undoing your own job. So again, that's where we need good UX leadership and good management to go to the product managers and say, look, you're a product manager. You're supposed to be a product strategist. You're supposed to be helping the teams prioritize and strategize. You're not supposed to be in anybody else's work. You're not writing code. You're not doing designs. You're not doing research. You are supposed to be taking the knowledge from everybody, the knowledge from engineering, the knowledge from sales and marketing, the knowledge from data and analytics, the knowledge from CX and UX, and helping the team prioritize, plan, make sure we're meeting business goals and satisfying customers' needs. That to me is what a product manager or product strategist should be doing. They need to get out of everybody else's work. Unless at your company, the product manager is the UX researcher or designer. I'm seeing more of that lately. I'm seeing where companies don't necessarily hire UX people. They think that's the product manager's job. Okay, well then the company needs to hire Ganesh as the product manager. That way you've got your product manager actually knows how to do UX work. It doesn't make sense to tell a product manager to do design work when they have no design education, no design background, no knowledge of UX or psychology or behavioral stuff. This makes no sense. You wouldn't tell a product manager who's never written code to go write some code. The problem is people still think design is easy to do, easy to learn, anybody can do it, we're all designers. Oh, look, I put together this microphone, I'm a designer. I put two pieces together. So these are problems that we face. And the reality is that the product manager should be empowering you. If the product manager is not empowering you, this is again where I wish you had a good manager who would be talking to the larger product team and say, how can product and UX work together so that both teams are empowered? It can't be that only product is empowered and UX is a bunch of secretaries. That's not what we do. Ganesh didn't go through 6 rounds of interviews, I'm guessing or making this up, but Ganesh didn't go through 6 rounds of interviews and design challenges and all these things to make sure Ganesh can do great design so that the product manager can do design. That's why I've got this. Remember that we go through very strict interview processes to get a UX job. So nobody should be doing UX unless they are qualified to do a UX job. If you're the product manager and you want to do UX work, I want to see if you're qualified to do it. And then if you want to do it, I want to put you under a UX department. That's it. Fun facts, there's a web called Everybody's PM in China. That sounds a little wacky. Yeah, so basically, if you have a good manager, go to that manager. If you don't have a good manager, I'm sorry. I think a lot of people who don't have great managers come here to ask me because they don't have good managers, so I can only do the best that I can. But that's what I would be talking about. I would be talking about being disempowered, and I would be talking about the product manager is getting into your domain. You were hired to do this. You went through 4 interviews and 2 design challenges to do this. Why is the PM doing design when they can't prove anything about anything? Hey, honey, can we let the dogs out?
I'm in the middle of something, but I'll ask.
Okay, thanks. We have an anonymous question coming in. Oh, hello. The message is too long to send on YouTube. Okay, we have a new question coming in through the magic of anonymous questions. So let's take a look, and let me paste this in a couple of places. Melody's here. How are you? Melody Renault. I'm finishing a job in a small startup, been there for a year so okay, let's jump on Melody's question quickly, and then we'll jump on Johnny's question, which was too long to send here. Okay, so here's Melody's question. I'm finishing a job in a small startup. I've been there a year as a solo designer. I'm a mid-level UX designer. They're not replacing me for 6 months. What are things I can do that will help their next 6 months? Okay, definitely makes sense. I've heard about these types of things before. For budget reasons, they're hoping you're going to fill up the backlog, and engineering are going to have months of things to work on before they need another UX designer. Hopefully you have talked to them about the risk of this, because that means after the engineers catch up with the backlog, there's nothing for them to do, or they're going to play junior fake UX designer and be guessing at designs. So make sure they understand the risk of not having someone who's going to continuously populate the backlog as engineering is getting that work done. Melody says, yep. Melody Renault. Is that how you pronounce that? I'm bad at French names. I would probably be talking to my product manager or product owner about their priorities, because if they want to be set up with 6 months of work to do, what is that roadmap? Have they clearly communicated the roadmap? Does anybody know what the roadmap is? Is there any research that we're working from? If nobody's sure what you should be working on, go to customer support and ask them for a list of the biggest problems and the questions they get most often from the last few months. There's probably some small and big projects there that need fixes or new designs. Oh, hi, Richard. Thanks. Thanks. A lot of value. Yeah, thank you. I'm usually live here 2 to 4 times a week on different topics. Tuesday is Ask Me Anything. Once a month, I do it at this time, which is 10 a.m. Italy time. It ends at 11. But every Tuesday, pretty much, unless I'm traveling, we do 6:30 p.m. Italy time. So, Richard, I don't remember where you're joining from. Ganesh says, thanks for answering the questions. Love to ask you more and get your expert views. Yeah, good luck with stuff. Let me know how it goes, Ganesh. So Melody, that's where I would be dipping into that well. I would also go to sales and marketing, perhaps, and say, hey, marketing, what are some goals you're having trouble reaching? Ooh, marketing loves that. Hey, are you having trouble with the website getting more leads or converting people? Do anything that really shows your value. So see who you can help achieve their goals. Can we get fewer customer support calls or tickets? They'll love that. Can we get sales? Can we make a better product so sales has an easier time selling it? Can we help marketing achieve some of their goals? They're going to love it. Thank you, Ganesh. First time subscriber. Yes, thank you. It came up twice. I don't know why, but I still believe you. Normally the heart is supposed to fly over the screen. The YouTube emojis are supposed to float over the screen. I don't know why they're not today, but maybe we just can't see them. Oh, Nairobi. Oh, okay. Hello, south of me. I'm in Italy. Great. So then, yeah, I think we're roughly the same time zone, possibly, right? It's almost 11 a.m. there. I do this every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Italy time. You might be the same time zone or an hour off, perhaps. So you can always join in and ask your questions. Questions are free. This is my free mentoring time for everybody. A lot of people say, can you please mentor me? And I say, look, I don't have time to mentor everyone who's asked. So office hours are for free global public mentoring, because chances are the question you have is an answer that will help someone else. Mickey says, some managers don't like you going without work. This is sad for people passionate about collaboration and breaking silos. Totally agree. Yes. Totally agree with that. It is trouble. So, Melody, you'll probably have to check with some of the vibes of the people that you work with. But chances are, if they're asking you to fill up the backlog for 6 months or longer, hopefully they won't mind if you do some digging on your own and try to find small and large projects that need, again, whether they're fixes or new designs or other things. And I think I would just be going to other teams. If nobody's told you, hey, just design this and then you can go, I would probably be going to those teams and seeing where you can really create impact, where someone can say, wow, we had this problem and then Melody did these designs and holy cats, we started getting 2% more leads or 1% more conversion or boop bop beep. So yeah, do whatever you can to really show that impact and help others achieve their goals. That's what I would be suggesting in a situation like that, which I have seen. Okay, now we've got Johnny's follow-up question. I think we're up to awesome, makes sense. Cool, good luck. Hopefully you have somewhere to land softly next. Okay, let me put Johnny's longer question up. And it says, the previous product I worked on is a machine vision software towards business, so they care more about results and function the software gives. You can see there are competition products with terrible UX. Some end users are not directly reachable by designers. Do you have good advice for designers on how to make an impact on UX in this field? Yeah, ultimately, if they're not going to give you access to the users, there's not that much that you can do, because you really need that access. You need them to be directly reachable. Look, someone's talking to them. Sales is talking to them. Product managers are talking to them. Engineers are talking to them. Marketers are talking to them. Someone is talking to these end users. Usually at a company, someone is. The question is, how can you talk to them too? Or can you get in on that? Hey, we're going to go talk to customers. Cool. Can I get 10 minutes or 20 minutes to ask them some things or show them a prototype? So I think you have to find a way to get yourself included in these things. Again, going to a manager and saying we need to improve our process would be something that would help, but we don't always have that manager that supports us. So yeah, I think you just have to remind people, look, we have competitors. If we don't make the better thing, we could lose people to the competitors. It's easy to leave us and go to the competitor. So we want to make sure we're really connecting to our users and really listening to them. And that's going to mean more than surveys. It's going to mean watching them use our system, watching them use competitors' systems to see what's going right or wrong there, talking to them. I think you can only try to explain the importance of directly including the users. That's what user experience is all about. And if they don't get it, they don't get it. Not everyone's going to get it. Not everyone's going to change when we give them good ideas and good reasons, but you can certainly try. Okay, we're running out of time, so we're just going to have time for Ganesh's last question, and then we're going to have to wrap up for today. But I will be back tonight doing this again with a special guest, Greg Marinelli. He'll be taking your questions, too. Ganesh says, how do we measure success of design that is smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound in the context of OKRs? OKRs might not be the right thing for you. Sometimes you want KPIs and not OKRs. Don't forget, Chapter 8 is metrics. So there's lots of good ideas in here and things to stay away from. And it's really hard for me to tell you what are good metrics because I have no idea what your company does. I have no idea what you're building. I have no idea what you're measuring now. But ultimately, the success of the design is the success of the product. You cannot separate the design and the product. If the product is having unsuccessful things, it's usually either technical problems or UX problems. Okay, it could be the price. But really, where people are complaining to support or leaving for competitors or writing you angry tweets, it's either going to be a technical problem, it's slow, it's buggy, something's broken, or it's going to be UX. This doesn't make sense, this is hard to use, it's too many steps, I got lost, error messages didn't make sense. So before I'm worried about these metrics, remember the success of the product is the success of the design if the problem isn't technical. So it's hard for me to tell you what good metrics might be when I don't know what you're doing. These are usually Googleable. There's lots of articles about things you could measure. Just remember that the best metrics balance what the business wants to see and what customers want to do. So for example, if you know that customers really want efficiency, they want to get through your task, the task or your product or whatever fast and efficiently, then time on page doesn't make sense unless you're looking for low time on page. See what I'm saying? Time on site, number of pages viewed. These should be low if we agree that efficiency and speed and the customer doing this task fast is our goal. If this is the goal because it's the customer's goal, then we can measure these things, but we would want them to be low. We would want to see the customer's time on our site be low. We would want to see the number of pages they see be low. But people sometimes don't get that. They think more pages, more time on site, but that's not what the customer wants. If you have the type of product where customers do like to spend a lot of time, usually that's media or entertainment, sometimes education. So it might be, hey, we've got articles. We want people to spend lots of time reading articles. Okay, then time on the page or time on the site or number of pages is good, and you want that higher because you want people reading your articles. But chances are, if you're a consumer or business product, people want to do things fast, and measuring the wrong thing can push teams to build slow, crappy things because they think, no, don't build that to be fast and efficient. We want more time on the site. I give an example in my book of trying to log into one of the online stock trading websites. I think it was Morgan Stanley. Now, if you think about a login is easily one screen. Username, password. Then it changes. Hey, we're sending you a code. You put in the code, you're logged in. So kind of one screen, two states of the screen, you're done. Somebody must have been measuring number of pages viewed and time on site as positives and wanting them higher on Morgan Stanley because it took me 6 separate screens, not 6 states of a screen, 6 separate pages that had to load up separately to log in. There was even an entire page that said, next we're going to send you a code to confirm. And I was just like, this is when I know a company has bad metrics. This is when I know somebody said, make people see more pages. I don't want to see more pages. I want to log in as fast as possible. So Ganesh, I can't tell you exactly the right metrics for your company, but I can say keep in mind what the user is trying to do and whether they want things to be fast or slow. That might help. Think about what is success to the customer. Okay. Cool. Well, thanks to everybody for joining in today. Some new names and faces. I guess I didn't see faces. Some new names and emojis. Thanks for helping me test out my travel laptop, which is why you're seeing the edge of my green screen. You won't see that later tonight when I broadcast from my main computer and my other camera. But I'm so glad that my travel laptop worked out, and it looks like it's got enough memory and RAM and video card stuff to sustain a stream. We had a really nice, smooth stream today. Thanks, Ganesh. Vibes from Johnny. So yeah, and remember, every Tuesday, if you'd like to know more about the stream and how you can join in and what else we're doing, just go to deltacx.com/links. All of the questions you have about the stream are there, including, hey, Deb, do you do coaching? And things like that. And so check that out. Thank you, Ganesh. Thank you very much. Please subscribe, and please do tell friends about the channel, because we are still shadow banned on YouTube, sadly. So we need all of the subscriptions that we can get, and so please tell your UX buddies about Delta CX. We're here for you, and we've got over 700 videos on the channel. So if you ever wonder something about UX, just type in YouTube Delta CX and a bunch of keywords and see what comes up. We might have some videos for you. Hand pink waving. Okay, I don't know why our stuff isn't coming up today. Let me try refreshing the effects page and see if we get it. Okay, there's some of the things we missed. I don't know why that wasn't totally working. I'm watching on YouTube only, not sure what shadow banned means. It means that a lot of times, even if you search for a topic we talk about, they don't show our videos in search results, they show other people's videos. So we're not banned on YouTube, but we're not really showing up well and love me. So we need to grow the channel more organically by asking you to subscribe and tell your friends. How do you get unbanned? I don't know. The problem is YouTube won't admit that shadow banning exists. So how do you get unshadow banned when you ask for help from somebody who says, no, that's not happening to you. It's not real. It's very real. So I don't know what I can do. I hope that at some point I'll know some people who work at YouTube and I can find out. Okay, and Johnny says I should call him Zheng Yi. Is that the correct pronunciation? Please send me a phonetic pronunciation of your name, or just record, Slack now has voice recording. Please record me yourself saying your name so I can do my best to copy it, though I'm not good with tonal languages. Ganesh says, yep, I shared a few close friends. I'm sure they'll love it. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so our show's officially over, and thanks again to everybody for being a part of it. And let's see, I should be able to play us out of here, and I'll see everybody tonight from the other computer and the other camera, and have a super day, and see you later. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are